Oh, man. What a absolutely crazy time. Yo, my name is Vosk. You're on the VoskCoin YouTube channel. Hope you stick around. Let's start digging into it. So I'm heavily negatively impacted by a lot of these recent events. Not the point of today's video. I'm super stressed out, but I want to get this content out. I'm researching this stuff all day, all night. I know a lot of you all are as well, and we have an incredible community here in the VoskCoin community. Last thing I want to do is be absent at this time. So thank you everyone who's taken the time to tune in here. Share the video, share the stream, it means everything. Man, so let's dig into this. So this is the big breaking news of this morning. I know there's been a lot of other breaking news, crazy news over the last week, but Gemini has halted withdrawals on their Earn program because that's basically white labeled, more or less, through Genesis Trading. What about Gemini the exchange? So, first message of this video: get out of any kind of yield product, whatever, if you are still in that, and you can. Get out. Are you on any centralized services, like an exchange? Get out. I'll talk more about how to do that later. But this is the recent announcement, hot off the press, right? By the time I could get a thumbnail, we're pretty much here. So, Gemini is aware that Genesis Global Capital, the lending partner of the Earn program, has paused withdrawals and will not be able to meet customer redemptions within the service level agreement of 5 business days. Okay, so I had a good chunk of money in Gemini Earn, and when all the BlockFi FTX drama blew up last week, I was panicking trying to get my funds out of that as fast as I could. Fortunately, my redemption did go through and my wire withdrawal did go through from Gemini. So I was able to dodge this bullet. But obviously not everyone will have. And if there was something to probably be bold on, it would have been something like Gemini. Not endorsing it or recommending it, actually the exact opposite. So they're working with Genesis team to help customers redeem their funds from the Earn program as quickly as possible. Past week has been challenging. Disappointed that the Earn program SLA will not be met. Continue to work with them on behalf of all Earn customers. This doesn't impact the rest of their exchange. So understand this. They're valued at $7 billion. This is a $7 billion company that's not getting it done right now. And they have Cameron and Tyler Winklevoss, billionaire twin brothers. Okay, they got deep money. They got a lot of money. They got a lot of liquidity to pull around. So, I see everyone tuning in the live chat. That's awesome. Let me know where you guys are tuning in from and the craziest news you've seen recently. I'm sure you've seen this by now, but if somehow you haven't, Sam Bankman-Fried, SBF, FTX turned out to be the biggest scammer and Ponzi scheme the world has ever seen. From simply a amount of people impacted, as well as a monetary point of view. All this stuff is blowing up. They filed for bankruptcy, hacked, money missing, all kinds of just craziness. This is the full announcement from Gemini on their blog regarding Gemini Earn. Is pretty much everything we already discussed here. They do claim this does not impact any other Gemini products and services. And if you have a pending redemption from Earn, you still may get it. Because we had initiated Alexa's withdrawal from Earn, Ms. Vosk, a little bit later. And it actually just came through this morning. So if you have a pending one, there may still be some hope in the immediate term, but all hope is not lost long term, and I'll explain that. Gemini claims they're built on trust, safety, compliance, ask for permission, not forgiveness. They said they had no exposure to FTT tokens and Alameda and no exposure to FTX. All customer funds held on Gemini held one-to-one. They don't do anything with your fiat, but they used the exact wording that no material exposure to FTX. Any material changes in its capital. And let me just show you exactly where that came from. And so I actually have a video in editing about this. And it was before the most recent news. So things have been changing. It's like these videos that I've been trying to record and edit and upload so are a little bit nicer, not like off the cuff live stream style. I have to keep redoing them. I have to keep redoing them because things keep changing constantly. But Genesis has a trading relationship. Genesis has no lending relationship with FTX. And basically, when all this stuff initially broke, they say 7 million across all counterparties. But then only a day later, as part of their goal in providing transparency, they said Genesis derivatives business has $175 million in locked funds in their FTX trading account. They're not material to their business. FTX, furthermore, our operating capital and net positions in FTX are not material to our business, Genesis Trading says. And I thought that material, that's what I really picked up on. That was like that kind of read between the line, what they said there and what Gemini said in their previous statement. And very scary, to think about what that really meant. And lately, conspiracy theories are not conspiracy theories. They're just actually the truth. Everything that's like bad that can happen has been happening. All the, maybe that's not good. That's a scam. I don't know about that or that, whatever. It's everything's been bad. Everything's been crumbling. Everything's been falling apart. Huge liquidity crunch across the sector. True. But also, why is there so much liquidity that's actually just missing or doesn't exist? That's the terrifying part. Genesis then said, this is the most recent. They recognize how challenging this past week has been due to the impact of the FTX news. At Genesis, they're focused on doing everything they can to serve their clients and navigate this difficult market. Genesis's spot and derivatives trading and custody businesses remain fully operational. They continue to support their clients who rely on them during volatile market conditions. They want to emphasize that Genesis Global Trading, their broker-dealer that holds their BIT license, independently capitalized and operated, separate from all other Genesis entities. This runs a lot deeper, which I'll talk about here in a second. The default of 3AC negatively impacted the liquidity and duration profiles of their lending entity, Genesis Global Capital. Since then, they have been de-risking the book and shoring up liquidity profile and the quality of their collateral. However, FTX has created unprecedented market turmoil, resulting in an abnormal withdrawal request quantity which have exceeded their current liquidity. The number one priority is to serve their clients, preserve their assets. Consultation with professional advisors and counsel, difficult decision to temporary... I can't even speak. I'm all flustered and frustrated right now. Difficult... Now I lost my place where I'm reading. I am just I'm very stressed out. I'm very frazzled. I'm pissed. Stressed. Difficult decision to temporarily suspend redemptions and new loan originations in their lending business. They've hired the best advisors in the industry to explore our possible options, deliver a plan next week for the lending business. They're working tirelessly to identify best solutions for the lending business, including, among other things, that we keep seeing this one, sourcing new liquidity. So, this runs deep. Digital Currency Group, DCG, parent company here. They're talking about their lending business, difficult decision to suspend here, response to extreme market dislocation, loss of industry confidence caused by the FTX implosion. Impact lies with their lending business at Genesis, not impacting Genesis trading and custody businesses. Importantly, this temporary action has no impact on the business operations of DCG and their other wholly owned subsidiaries. So, We got Barry Silbert, founder CEO of DCG Digital Currency Group, which is the parent of Grayscale, which is basically an investment fund. Genesis Trading. They also scooped up CoinDesk. So good luck getting unbiased articles there anymore. TradeBlock, Foundry Services, Luno Global. Okay. What's been very interesting about Barry here, he hasn't said a single thing personally on his Twitter. And he's, Twitter personality, all that stuff, almost 1 million followers. Which, if you haven't already, please follow VoskCoin on Twitter. I've been doing more tweeting, more real-time updates, and it's been crazy. And having a platform that's a little bit more real-time as opposed to YouTube, where videos have a bit of a lag to record, edit, upload, publish. It has been, very useful, right? But anyway, shameless plug, right? Follow us there, please. But my point here, active Twitter personality. And he hasn't posted anything personally since November 6th. It's been a very bad sign, to the point that people have even started to notice. And they keep saying the FTX contagion. It's real. It's a real thing. And you got screenshots like this. It's my turn, Sam. Eyeballs. What like, this is taken out of context, but using it today. Wow. Also, I know everyone is frustrated. I'm frustrated, I'm frazzled, I'm stressed, but I really don't want any kind of trolling or like negativity in the chat, especially to other members here. Like, if you don't have anything half decent to say, you can shut up, okay? Because right now we all need to band together, pick up the pieces, and at a minimum, pick up your fellow crypto user, crypto enthusiast. I'm not here saying like, all these big companies and, big players, whatever, they need our sympathy exactly. But the fact is, a lot of real people were absolutely obliterated with FTX and a lot of these other companies that have, gone insolvent, paused, withdrawals, all kinds of issues. This isn't a week for joking. This isn't a week to troll people. It's never really a week to be mean, right? Especially just cruel. Like, we're dealing with crypto. We're dealing with money. We're dealing with things with real value. We're dealing with people's livelihoods, their savings, their retirement. Like, dude, just, be a good human. That's what it comes down to. So, the next piece, and look, I'm not here to push a political agenda. I'm not really even going to say anything on this other than just recognize this data. So, per this, didn't fact check it myself, but believe it to be true enough. Famous Democratic Party donors. Bernie Madoff, the most famous Ponzi dude in the world ever. Okay? And Jeffrey Epstein, Harvey Weinstein, or whatever. Sam Bankman completely fried. 89%, 92%, 99% to the Democrats, or the Democrats. A Ponzi schemer, pedophile, Hollywood sex predator, and crypto scam artist are among the Democrats' top donors of all time. Quoting this tweet here just to be very clear. So, something to think about, huh? This is a guy with not a serious name, but some good takes here and there, right? And let's talk about that. A lot of, in my opinion, kind of overreactions, maybe. A lot of dramatization. A lot of just really trying to make things as bad as possible for engagement, right? And I'm not defending anyone right now, but I'm just saying if we take a step back and a deep breath, some of these things may not be as bad as they seem. So Big A said you need to add your hero Donald Trump to that list. Donald Trump doesn't like Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. I don't like Donald Trump until he likes crypto. So we can go ahead and put that counter argument to rest right now. If you don't support cryptocurrency, if you don't support blockchain, if you don't support Bitcoin, I don't support you. Period. Very simple statement there. So he says Genesis freezing up because they're liquid, but still solvent isn't bad. The biggest problem in the industry with these CFI lenders, centralized finance lenders, is a duration mismatch. Offer low, no yield for flexible deposits, only offer if people lock up so you can match duration. So this revolves around better risk management for solvent entities. Exchanges should not be utilizing user deposits to earn returns unless users explicitly request it, and lenders should operate with term deposits as the norm instead of flexible deposits. So let's kind of look at this from a less sensationalist point of view, like Jason Choi has here. Genesis is fully operational but temporarily halting origination and withdrawals. They're currently sourcing new liquidity, and they're announcing a plan next week, as opposed to something so dramatic like dead in the water. Big things unwinding here. Holy crap. So again, I'm not saying that I think the Genesis is going to be good. Okay? Don't misunderstand that. But I will say that they have super deep pockets. And I think those to be actually real deep pockets as opposed to fake deep pockets like SBF had and FTX, masqueraded as. So I'll talk about that here more in a second, but a little, just one more piece to add to this to try to give a well-rounded take and story. Grayscale said in the wake of recent events, investors should know the safety and security of the holdings underlying Grayscale digital asset products are unaffected. So we already talked about Genesis trading, halting those withdrawals. Grayscale products continue to operate business as usual. The assets underlying GBTC, right? Grayscale BTC there. And Grayscale products remain safe and secure, held in segregated wallets in deep cold storage by their custodian, Coinbase. Grayscale does not borrow, lend, rehypothecate, or otherwise encumber the products underlying assets, and the custodian for the assets are prohibited in engaging in such activity. Publicly quoted products trade and produce SEC and OTC market reports and audited financial statements. Basically, this is supposed to be good, this is supposed to add validity to them. And, they need to figure it out and set a decent example where they basically get Gemini or Genesis out of this, and thus also Gemini, without stealing from their other honeypots, right? Maybe honeypot's not the best word, but from their other pots of gold and cash and crypto and coins, whatever. You can't take from over here to repay over here. That's how we got here. We need to figure out where all the funds are that's more or less supposed to be in this pot and get them back in there so they can be paid out if desired, whatever. So I've got some more to talk about. I want to hear your questions in the comments, in the live stream chat. If you're watching this after the fact, please drop some comments below. Love to engage there as well. All this stuff is crazy and rapidly developing. If you're stressed out, you want to hang out, you got stuff to talk about, or you're holding up decently, whatever, join the VoskCoin Discord server, join the VoskCoin Talk forum. You click the VoskCoin/22 short link in the video description below down there and join the communities, connect with others. We'll band together, shoulder to cry on, someone to pick you up, whatever we got to do. So I've got no relationship with Exodus, but that's a good hot wallet I've used for years. There's also MetaMask. This stuff is free, okay? You can set it up right now. You can initiate a withdrawal from any centralized service, hopefully still, right now. So, do it. Obviously, there's cold storage. Grab a Trezor, grab a Ledger if you want. But a lot of people are pushing that just to try to hit you with another affiliate link. The fact is, these things are free and very secure because you hold the keys. Cold storage, yeah, it's a little bit better. But you could do this right now. So do this right now. If you can't do this right now, maybe consider selling your coins and retreating into US dollars till the smoke blows over. Do I think Coinbase is going down? No, I don't. But nobody thought FTX was going to go down either. So it's hard to be emboldened on anything right now. So here's what I think is odd. And again, everybody, hit me with all your questions. I want to run through your questions, everything we want to talk about. Probably go for another 10 minutes or so in the stream before closing it out. Gotta collect my candies. That's all I got left. I am absolutely shocked that the market is not dumping harder. It's actually terrifying, to be honest. Like, how is Solana, which is basically an insider Ponzi scheme that masqueraded as an ETH competitor and killer, funded and pushed forward by FTX and Alameda Research. Okay, so FTX US previously sponsored the VoskCoin YouTube channel. And one of the things they said to me I thought was odd. They were talking about not listing Cardano. And it's a competitor. And it was just like I don't really have a ton of inside scoop on that front, but reading between the lines and digging a little deeper, I understand business can be cutthroat and things like that, right? But there's a huge conflict of interest. It's shady, it's scammy, and it's just wrong, right? If I have a crypto exchange and I want to be the best exchange, I'm putting every good crypto on there, period, or every big crypto, right? They should be in the business of making money from trading fees. But turns out Alameda Research had a API key to front run trades. They caused bullshit liquidations. People have been scammed by FTX for much and Alameda Research and SBF much longer than they realize with all this crazy information coming out. This has been a rigged game. Just insane. And so I'm reading some of the comments from you guys, and I know there's not all bad actors in the Solana ecosystem. And there's some good people working there, whatever. Yeah. Just like there were, still somehow, right, some good people working at FTX. Obviously not all of them. Obviously not the higher up. Obviously not anyone who knew anything about how bad this was. But guess what? The good, half-decent people are going to try to go somewhere else good or move on. I think you're an absolute idiot if you stay in the Solana ecosystem. It's disgusting. It's gross. It's tainted. If you want to fork it, right, and we make, Solana 2.0, maybe. If you really want a blockchain that can't guarantee its uptime and has a terrible track record and a really dirty history. I want you to think about the worst person in the world, right? Think about just some nasty, really popular person. I don't even need to interject the ones that come to mind for me, right? Just a terrible figure that you think is just the scum of society. Well, that's exactly what SBF is. And he is the face, the basically founder, more or less. I don't care what anybody says. He is the face of Solana. He's the Vitalik to Ethereum. SBF is the Vitalik, to Solana there. SBF is to Solana like Vitalik is to Ethereum. You're going to use that bad guy's blockchain because you're too arrogant, you're too lazy, you're too stupid? You want to die on this hill? Go ahead. And I saw the comment about helium, and I just shot a video on this yesterday. And helium is absolute trash, and I'm dumping all this stuff, and I will forever dump all my HNT and whatever other BS coins they make up, which I'm not happy about at all. If they don't move away from the Solana ecosystem, you know what that goes. You go Solana, FTX, FTX, Alameda, SBF, helium. You want to keep your name in that bag, like. Look, nobody saw this coming. I shouldn't say nobody. Most people didn't see this coming. This is unprecedented. This is crazy. But how can you be so stupid that you want to stick around in this? How can you be so dumb? How can you be so arrogant? And I'm not trying to make this personal, but just a couple of days ago, Amir Halim, the CEO and the face of helium, said that they're going to stay on Solana and it's the right decision and all that. I mean, I'm almost mad I gotta say this shit. I've made mistakes, for sure. We all have. I made some bad ones. And, I mean, I'm getting obliterated between this, financially, not even all the other aspects, between FTX and the BlockFi drama right now. To the point that it would take me years, if ever, to speaking of another Democrat, Bernie Sanders, to financially recover from this. I'm trying to play it cool, but I'm dying inside. But that's my problem, That's my problem. Moving forward, though, where do we go from here? What do we do? And I'm reading the comments. I'll keep going for a little bit more. Let me know what else you guys want to talk about, what you want to discuss or break down here, whatever. But I got pissed and went on a rant basically about Solana. How the hell is Solana still worth $5 billion? That's the one other thing I wanted to say. That thing should be worth $3, just like SBF always wanted. Regarding the helium and the Solana phone, go ahead, stick around for the Solana phone, right? You can put that in with the money laundering phone, the terrorist phone, the genocide phone, the biggest Ponzi scheme in the world ever phone. Dude, move on. Rebrand. Grab the lawyers. We can cut these ties. This is unprecedented. So anyway, that's all I want to say about that. I've got a lot of fun stuck in BlockFi right now, land deals. I mean, I put my money where my mouth is with this stuff, and whatever. Moving, I touched on it. I don't want to get too deep in that, but yeah, situation sucks. I hope they can come out of this for everyone's sake, including myself personally. So. Antminer S19 XP, talking about mining rigs and stuff like that. Honestly, I'm less bullish than I've ever been on mining in the short term. I have no idea how this market is still so high. We still have Bitcoin at 16 grand. We still have Ethereum at over $1,000. We still have BNB near $300. Solana is still a top 20 cryptocurrency. All of these coins, people are going to see what a real winner's like. Honestly, before this implosion, I thought we were going to have a pretty light crypto winter. But this is going to be worse than 2018. I'm not saying we're going to get a 3,000 Bitcoin again, but I don't see how we don't go sub 10. And some people are like, well, people were trading on these exchanges with IOUs and stuff. Do you understand, how scared institutions are going to be to get involved? And people either want institutions or they don't or whatever, but the fact is they bring a lot of money and they prop up coin prices, and most people just are so simple-minded that all they want is the number to go up. What about retail investors? We literally will need a new generation to get involved with crypto. We're going to have to wait for a whole new generation. And I don't mean a complete generation, I guess exactly I should say. We need a whole new 4 years of just fresh people to come out, young, bright, excited, maybe a little naive, bullish, and not to take advantage of them or anything, but like, let's take like the boomers, right? You look at their age, their risk tolerance, what they've come up in, what they've seen in this implosion, and their basically remaining expected lifespan. Honestly, it's kind of too risky. Like the risk versus reward, it's gotten so much riskier. That's a lot of reduced involvement. That's less potential money coming into the ecosystem. A lot of companies will completely push back. If they're good, they don't need crypto. They don't need blockchain. They don't need NFTs, right? This is like Kyle C says, this all screams like the tech bubble of the early 2000s. Yes, that's true. And crypto's not going away. Blockchain's not going away. NFTs are not going away. But bear market just got a lot longer. That's the takeaway. So Felix says like every bear market we hear the same stuff, but the last bear market we had NiceHash and their hack, and NiceHash actually eventually paid, to my understanding, all of the Bitcoin that was hacked back. And if you sat on the Bitcoin you got back, you eventually hit a new all-time high, and it all kind of worked out more or less in the long run. Granted, not exactly to everyone's, desire. What exchange went belly up in the last bear market? Like, what was that Australian exchange? Their token was DOT, but it wasn't Polkadot. Somebody let me know in the comments. But basically, they went belly up. But like, Coinbase didn't go belly up. Oh, BitConnect. BitConnect blew up. And BitConnect, looked stupid from the beginning. And a lot of people did get involved with that. Pales in comparison to all current issues. Cryptopia, that's what it was. Goonie, right. Winner, chicken dinner. It was Cryptopia, was the Australian or New Zealand exchange I was thinking of. But BitConnect looked crappy from the beginning, and like maybe you put some money in, you hope it worked out, and you try to get out of the roller coaster before went off the track. But like FTX was in the sentence right next to Coinbase. Nobody ever put BitConnect next to Coinbase, right? Or Binance. I'm not trying to throw a bunch of shade at Binance, but CZ and Binance, in a way, they look like the more well-positioned SBF and FTX. I hope that's not the case, but there are a lot of similarities. Maybe SBF was just LARPing and CZ can do it for real, right? Maybe that's the difference. But I'm terrified. My confidence has never been this shaken. And see, I completely disagree with you, Grant A, saying FTX was an obvious scam. It was an obvious scam now as we all dig in retrospect. Yeah. But if it was an obvious scam, so many people wouldn't have been impacted. So many people wouldn't have used it. It wasn't an obvious scam. They were running around masquerading as crypto's white knight and hero. They were bailing out people in trouble when they were the ones in trouble. This is like the most convoluted, scary scam that we've ever seen. And there was too much simping for SBF. He seemed infallible. He seemed untouchable. To the point that, like, I don't think enough of us, were critical enough. Mike Bennett, that's a good point. FTX FTX US was regulated. You know, we're dealing with United States regulated cryptocurrency exchanges. They've never really failed before. And some people want to bring up like Mt. Gox, right? That was so long ago. The space has changed and matured so much since then. Something of this magnitude should have never been possible. And like Yalad said, FTX like had Super Bowl ads with Brady. And I'm not saying that means, oh yeah, they should be good. But like, dude, like this is something like this has never happened before. Not to this level, not to this magnitude, not with so many just like normal citizens susceptible to it. So, I mean, it's going to be a long road. Like Pierre says, Binance's insurance fund has a lot of BNB, which is just their own token. And, you know, like this whole, just to sum it up real quick if you don't know, but it's like we had Three Arrows Capital, and then we had Alameda Research, FTX, and they're all just like playing this game of passing money around, Terra Luna, UST, Do Kwon, right? It's like, you know, one was like kind of a scammer and the other one was kind of scamming the other one, and then the other one was kind of scamming the other one, and we just like had this insane like scam circle. Then you take a step back and realize that the US government, probably going to get killed over this, you know, is one of the biggest scams in the world. And you know, you look at this money trail, and the US government is donating money over there, and so a lot of things, so I can't speak exactly to that, but all crypto donations were touched by FTX. So FTX is touching this and basically funneling money back in, and SBF turns out to be the biggest Democratic donor, and then we have Gary Gensler having meetings, and it's just insane. It's just, yeah, like Sam Fisher says, the FTX situation made Bernie Madoff Ponzi scheme look like a misdemeanor. You know, Mike Bennett, the term has been circulating a lot. A shell game, right? A shell game. Everyone dies on the inside many times and people don't see. You know, I mean, this could change the space forever. It's basically DeFi, decentralized finance, or nothing. Like, if we can't see it on chain, it's no good. So, you know, where do we even, like, where do we go from here? The confidence is so shaking, right? This is the breaking news. U.S. House Committee to hold hearing on FTX collapse and crypto fallout. Oh my God. And I mean, like the comment contagion. Oh my God. It's just, so I wrote down a couple notes before I started on this, but where's what I wanted to write? Basically, you know, when you look at the regulation backlash, right? So if every I'm not going to participate in this lending stuff anymore, ever again. And I'm sure most people feel that way, especially on CeFi, but even DeFi, I'm scared, right? And I shouldn't be, but like that's how I feel. And if all of these go down, governments, especially the United States, are going to come in with an iron fist, a hammer, and they're going to put so much regulation. They are, it's just crazy. Like regardless of what we want to do, the U.S. citizens will never have access to a yield-bearing product again. But here's where it gets even worse. It starts to really spill over. So we have like Gemini Earn, for example, right? And Lend Your Coins and stuff like that. And of course, like the same thing with BlockFi and some others. So if BlockFi can't, at a minimum, do right by their customers, okay, that's probably already enough. Then FTX US, huge issue and debacle, but maybe that can kind of be put into the FTX international bucket, and US regulation can kind of skirt by that. Maybe, right? But if Gemini Earn and Genesis Trading also implodes, you know, US citizens will never be allowed access to lending products like that again. Legally, obviously. And this is where it gets worse. Then they're going to take it a step further, and they're going to wrap in staking cryptocurrencies. If you stake cryptocurrencies, you're really just putting your coins in and earning yield. Okay? So now it'll be illegal to stake cryptocurrencies, to earn interest, to earn yield. Okay, so then the next place this goes, I understand that all this craziness is all connected. Then the next place this goes, so many cryptocurrencies are going to be deemed securities. You will need to be an accredited investor to basically deal with crypto again. They may ban or maybe remove trading cryptocurrencies from apps that also trade stocks. You know, stocks is kind of wiggled by with like all the Robinhood drama and stuff like that. They may not want to face the additional regulation and exposure, or may not even be allowed, or maybe they're just going to shut it down and make a new license that will take years to get regulated. So I know what you're thinking, like, oh, Bitcoin, oh, proof of work. Yeah, I mean, that's true. And I dig that. I'm about it, obviously. Mined a ton of coin here. I love mining coin here on the channel. But that's not enough. Maybe we'll see a lot of, I think for the first time ever, I feel like there actually may be a shift. There may be a hope for cryptocurrencies to come back to good old proof of work and forget your scalability. We just don't want to fail the Howey test and be a security. Because when these things all start being deemed securities, which per the Howey test, most of them are, they will be fined. They will be persecuted. Okay? People are scared of that. Most people, most of these organizations, a lot of them are public. They're doxxed. So what do? You leave the U.S. But this goes beyond the United States. This regulation is going to bleed globally. FTX International is a massive negative impact outside of the United States. Obviously, some of these things are impacting U.S. citizens, obviously, but the majority of the FTX-centric damage are international users, not U.S. citizens. These governments are going to step in. This is not a coincidence. This is coming at the same time as CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. Money controls us. It rules us. We're all rats in the maze. If you don't have that much money, you're focused on your job, you're focused on your day-to-day, you're focused on your groceries, you're focused on surviving. Central bank digital currencies continue that control, continue that just surveillance state. They know what you got. They know what you got. They know what you got. They know where it is. You can't do anything in the gray area. They'll know. They'll come get you. They'll come shut you down. And I'm not saying that I want to do anything bad. I just want privacy. Nobody should know how much money I have. Nobody should know what I do with my money. It's called privacy. Should be the same for you. The counter argument is, I've got nothing to hide. I don't care. It's not about having nothing to hide. A lot of people had nothing to hide, and then they were genocided. It's not always simple or fair. The world has never been, with humans, a good place. It's a cruel world where a lot of bad things happen. Look at mainstream media. The New York Times put out the softest piece on Sam Bankman-Fried that the world has ever seen. They crucify other people. I've been slammed in a major publication, taken out of context, try to basically look bad, make crypto look bad. I'm not a scammer. SBF is. They ask if Sam's been getting good sleep. They don't ask about the billions he stole, laundered, and the biggest Ponzi scheme that he operated in the world has ever seen. We should never even talk about Bernie Madoff again. He can be forgotten. His chapter can be thrown to the side. Okay. I still just feel like people don't, like, not everyone knows or doesn't understand, like, this is the biggest Ponzi scheme monetarily the world has ever seen. This is the biggest scam, truly, without, preaching or, trying to stretch these metrics out, these numbers. This is the biggest scam in human history. At least in recorded history, at least with, money, right? Because crypto is money. We all know that. It's obvious. And you either turn electricity into crypto, which has a monetary value, you had to pay a bill. You turn your time into crypto, which has a monetary value, you monetize your time. Or you just simply turn your money into crypto, which has a very obvious value factor. The next thing that comes is just like Doran said, the SBF scam documentary. Most people outside of crypto still don't really even know about this. They surely don't understand it. And they probably just shrugged it off. But when the most popular, documentary, like when the most popular, like the number one watched thing in the world, in every country, on Netflix, is about SBF and his scam, it's not good news for the cryptocurrency sector. Okay? Maybe you saw like that Fire Festival documentary, and basically it was a big scam for a festival, a concert, like a EDM kind of thing. Well, it wasn't EDM, but it was the festivals. Everybody goes there and listens to music, listens to music, does each other, and does drugs. Okay, so I don't personally partake in those. So that pales in comparison to what happened. It's going to be the first. Like, first impressions are so hard to change and undo. This is going to be the next first impression. This is going to be what people see. Every critic, every skeptic is going to say, I told you so. Anyone who ever uttered the word Ponzi scheme, which has always been disrespectful to any half-decent project out there, now is going to unfortunately have a little bit of validity with that statement. Because FTX and Alameda, what they conducted was nothing short of a Ponzi scheme. Funnel all this money in, promise big returns, and then a lot of people lost it all. Just unreal. So I do want to take a quick note and just thank everyone who's tuned in, watching the videos. Tons of viewers on here, which is super cool to see. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. If you're watching right now, please hit the thumbs up. And thank you so much to everyone who's also donated. I truly do appreciate it, especially in times like this. I know that, the market's tough in crypto. The global economy is not good. So, a donation, it carries more weight than ever. So I appreciate it. And thank you. Thank you, Jay Sistar. Thank you, Daniel Widmer. Thank you. Got to go through the chat. You guys are pretty active today. Thank you, Buddy Lee. And I saw Doran earlier. Thank you, Doran. And I can't go back further right now. But if you did, I saw it. I appreciate and thank you. So Dave, let's talk about that. You said this is a tad dramatic. This is the biggest scam that's ever unfolded in the world. I don't think there's anything dramatic about that. Not in the slightest. And I'm not trying to spread FUD, and I'm not trying to be negative, and I'm not personally giving up. I just want to be very clear on that. But we need to recognize basically just how bad this situation is. It's terrifying. It's just absolutely terrifying. I'm skimming around here for just, if there's been anything, crazy breaking while we've been streaming, which, has been the pace recently. It did slow down. And yesterday was actually kind of a slow day, but today turns out to be another just crazy one. I do want to say just another quick general note here is please be kind to others. The worst part about this, there's going to be people that come out of this scenario, they're going to kill themselves. Let's call it like it is. They're going to kill themselves. They're going to commit suicide because they had everything in one of these places and they lost it all. And they're going to feel like they can't recover. And if you kick somebody when they're down, maybe you'll be the person to push them over the edge. That's terrible. It's a terrible thing to do. And on the flip side, it's a terrible place to be. So be a positive force. Help somebody out. And we'll have to hang on and see where all this goes. A lot of people are saying this feels like the bottom. I don't agree with that at all. We need to see how these things unfold. We need to see where this stuff goes. There's a lot of liquidations that will take place. A lot of people are going to have to sell a lot of positions, and maybe I even mean this more so with companies, right? If you need to pay back a bunch of money, maybe that's going to come out of your Bitcoin holdings. Maybe, some of these lenders are going to evoke terms and this is done, here's your collateral, this, that, whatever. And maybe they took out dollars against Bitcoin. And now, but they still need money. So they're going to dump their Bitcoin that they were trying to hold against their dollars, right? But they would dump that because they have to. That's basically forced selling on Bitcoin. Ethereum and other top cryptocurrencies are what's used as collateral, especially Bitcoin. And the other thing is, Bitcoin is at a very low price point right now. And it's, in my opinion, going to continue to trend down. And obviously we talk a lot about mining here on the channel. And so let me show you. I'm going to show you what the 10 cent per kilowatt hour electric rate. So 10 cents per kilowatt hour. And this is just crazy bearish, right? At 10 cent per kilowatt hour. This is just a quick pull off of ASIC miner value, who are actually they've done some scammy things in the past, I've heard, but it's another day. At 10 cents per kilowatt hour, there's basically, what is this, like 10 miners? There's 10 Bitcoin miners that are profitable. And without going into the basically latest generation, which is pretty much the S19 XP, or you deal with a water-cooled miner like the Hydro, only the most efficient S19 Pros make more than they burn in electricity. What does this mean if you don't mine Bitcoin? Well, let me tell you what it means if you mine Bitcoin. You're in for a rough ride. How long can you sustain this? What if your runway was blown up on FTX or BlockFi or Gemini? We'll see where the Gemini thing goes. What if your runway was blown up? You can't just sustain these losses. You can't just stack coin. If you don't have gains anymore and all you have are losses, You can't run all this stuff as expenses against, the money you made. In just overnight, you could be going from a solid position to absolutely terrible. What does it mean if you don't mine Bitcoin? Great question. So previously, it was about $20 million a day mined in Bitcoin. Due to these prices in the last 24 hours, $15 million in Bitcoin was mined in the last 24 hours. Okay, so just from a couple months ago, this is down 25%, which means that mining farms at a minimum are making 25% less. Bitcoin mining difficulty just recently hit an all-time high, which means you also mine less Bitcoin than ever before. It's less profitable and lucrative than ever to be engaged in Bitcoin mining in recent history. Not exactly ever. So this ultimately translates to and means so much forced selling. There will be no Bitcoin miners that maintain their reserves in USD, in Bitcoin eventually, because they're going to be burning it up. Most of their gear is on payments, right? And where does this go now? Because a lot of these lenders also lend to Bitcoin mining farms. So they're going to get liquidated. And if they have Bitcoin as collateral that's down, then what, right? BlockFi lended them 100 million. They took 80% collateral. They went under, so they keep their collateral. We're going to really find out about this over collateralized thing and how that's worked out at all for anyone, if it's true or 100% collateral. But with these crazy market conditions, this stuff is changing so fast. And can they even liquidate it? And when they go from liquidating and market sailing it, this delay, it's just going to be a huge cascading effect. And all the Bitcoin that they mine, they're going to dump every single day because they need cash. They need to make these payments. They need to pay these electric bills. These aren't options. These aren't things to push off. So basically, there's $15 million in selling pressure every single day for Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin's worth over $300 billion. But it's not good news. It's not good news. So at least we can say with certainty that Bitcoin is not a security. So we've got that going for us. For anyone tuning in who has semi recently and didn't catch the beginning of this video, the quick recap is that Gemini is halting Gemini Earn redemptions because their lending partner Genesis Trading, who just 5 days ago said, first they said they were exposed to 7 million. Then they said they lost 175 million with FTX. And then everybody started pulling and they don't have the liquidity. And basically these redemptions are paused. Gemini maintains a position that the funds held on their actual exchange, not in Gemini Earn, just to be very clear on that, are held one-to-one and available. Gemini Earn is done through Genesis, who are, basically in the midst of all this drama here, that their lending business has paused redemptions and withdrawals. I was very fortunate to get what money I did have in there out. I clicked, redeem on my Earn last week, and I got it about, 36 hours later, I think. And then I did a same-day wire transfer with Gemini Exchange, and I got that into USD in my account. I was redeeming a GUSD position, to be clear on that. And anyway, so that's that happened. That's the latest news, on that front. So obviously most people are up to date and familiar with FTX and their bankruptcy. And, Masari is saying that per their calculations, people could get 40 to 50% of their money back, which, given these recent revelations, would actually be probably very good and very hopeful. But I don't, to be honest, I think that's a very hopeful situation. When we look at that per Kunal's calculation here, right? Liquid assets, less liquid, illiquid, talking millions here, 622, 616, and then 2,870. Total fair value for 4,109 million. Cost of liquidation, including legal fees, 20% here. Net value, 3,287 million. Customer deposits, apparently 8,400 million. And then total liabilities, basically, per this, like zeroing it out almost at, 8,859 million. So when we kind of look forward and we look at this, we look at reported value in Robinhood, 472 million, discount 50%, calculated fair value there at $201 million. I mean, what a terrible position to be in, for Robinhood stock. So let's see how that's trading. Oh, what a surprise that just, how little this has impacted things so far. So Robinhood has a market cap of $8.6 billion. And the share is only down 5% in the last month. So you got a $500 million share here. This shouldn't put Robinhood in the grave, but a lot of people knee-jerk react, right? I mean, Coinbase is down 11%. Robinhood, and I'm assuming that's today there, and Robinhood is only down 5% in the last month. We look at the last day, that's pretty much the 5% there. And it's like people don't even know. They don't know. They don't understand. They don't realize. I think people just have no idea how deep all of this stuff is running. Where was my tab here? So we got that. Then we have Ledger Prime, but Ledger Prime, we'll see what happens if that gets out of there. I like that he did the smart thing here. This is an absolute scam. That FTX was valuing their Serum holdings in the billions. It recently didn't even have a market cap of 100 million, and they were valuing it billions. Putting that fair value at zero. I don't know how anyone could hold any Serum anymore. It's contagion. Destroying it is very obvious and very clear here. But for some reason, degens are buying it. And it's still worth over $100 million. I don't understand. People say the bottom's in. If you say that, I think you're an idiot. Crazy. Same thing with Solana. Still worth $5 billion. FTT. At least this one is actually kind of blown up. To be honest, with the way these things have gone, I'm still surprised it's not worth billions of dollars. Or at least millions like these other ones are. Which I don't think it should be, but that's the way things have been trending with this. Now let me see if I can get through my million tabs. It's pretty quick. You have Solana here, right? And so basically they had $1 billion of Solana, and he's putting that valuation at 350 million. How can you even keep any of these coins with $1 billion liquidation incoming? Blows my mind. FTT went from being very valuable to a whole lot of nothing. Then you have these other cryptocurrencies. All of these will be dumped. But these other positions really aren't that substantial. Which also makes me think, how are you really going to compensate everybody? So let me know in the comments in the chat what you guys think. Smash the thumbs up, share the video, share the stream, get other people informed. If I could tell you anything, it is get your cryptocurrencies out of centralized exchanges, services, everything. I would personally even recommend leaving DeFi right now and just retreating into your own wallets, into cold storage. So, and just that's what I would recommend. And so, Closet, you asked why this would affect Robinhood. It's because SBF/FTX basically at this point, own about $500 million of shares for him. So, and Robinhood is a cryptocurrency exchange in addition to being a stock exchange. So, we'll see where it goes. I'm not trying to FUD them or anything. And I don't think it's going to absolutely destroy them or anything. Sam Fisher, appreciate the donation, my friend. Thank you. So we haven't directly talked about this, but there have been some comments. What's the deal? So BlockFi, their last statement is working around the clock to achieve the best possible outcome given last week's event. Their withdrawals are paused. Some withdrawals that people had initiated before they paused went through. So in my opinion, I'm hopeful, but I'm not optimistic, right? Those are different things. We'll see where this goes. Obviously this is just, gutting. I have a whole video coming on this, and I don't, this is just like straight up depressing, really. So that's the scoop on that. Basically, it's a wait and see. We'll see where this one goes. This also puts, I haven't followed Voyager personally because we never really talked about Voyager too much. I never really used Voyager. But Voyager was wrapped into this whole FTX drama, and I'm worried, Voyager's in big trouble. But maybe because they are bankrupt and they are like heavily scrutinized and examined in their books and everything, that FTX wasn't actually able to swoop in and do too much damage. Maybe it was more so they were just trying to get what they could of those assets and keep, the term that's been recirculating, their shell game going. So, oh my gosh. So I see another popular question, and let me pull it up. So, as it stands, Compass Mining, former sponsor of the VoskCoin YouTube channel, I do not recommend them. I do not endorse them. They made a lot of arrogant mistakes, to put it simply, especially the whole Russia endeavor, which I spoke out about that, and that, among other things, they dumped sponsoring our channel in one text line on Telegram. So not a very professional company by any means. I would try to get out of Compass in any way you can personally. I'm not trying to like throw shade on them. They haven't said anything on this front. So they're either good or not. And time reveals all. So we will see that. We will see that for sure. The latest on CZ and Binance is this statement. And I hate to be so negative, but there's a lot of similarities between SBF, FTX, FTT, Solana, and CZ, Binance, BNB, Binance Smart Chain. It's scary. But again, the question is it was SBF LARPing around, trying to act like he could do the things CZ can, but he couldn't cash that check? Or is and in comparison, is CZ capable of doing that? All right. So recent news on this is he signed 8 investment deals, small amounts, I wonder, like, but what is a small amount to him? Is it $1 million? I'm starting to lose my voice, so I'm gonna wrap this up on the next 5 minutes. Go ahead and flood me with your comments. I'll run through all of them as we close this out, but I'll definitely close this out in the next 5 minutes. I know I say that sometimes and keep going, but this is absolute. I'm starting to lose my voice. So, what's a small amount to CZ? I don't know. I guess a couple million. Probably doesn't relate to anything major, but a couple small deals could be precursors to big deals, right? And let's see what I'm looking for here. They said they had no exposure to Genesis, by the way, for whatever it's worth. And so if we can believe anything anyone ever says anymore. So they just got a regulation approval in Abu Dhabi, which is surprising. Anyone's getting any kind of approval right now. So I don't personally use Zelcore anymore, and I don't recommend it. I'm not trying to throw shade on them. Don't use it. I don't recommend it. Do whatever you want to do. Proceed with caution. So that's that. I know. See, Zachary Miller is calling me out. I say 5 minutes and I freaking talk for another 30 minutes. Well, you guys tuned in today. It's been crazy. So thanks for that. Thanks for tuning in today. So we got 4 minutes left. I'm looking at my phone now. I'm gonna wrap this up. Miguel, stay strong in Puerto Rico in the eye of the storm. In Puerto Rico, you could be the eye of a tropical storm. You could be the eye of the crypto storm. That's scary. So Binance CEO CZ says significant interest in crypto industry recovery fund. So interest in the recovery fund. I know some people have been interested in getting involved in contributing to the recovery fund. I know some people have been obviously involved in getting recovered by the recovery fund. We'll see where that goes. But, a couple big players banding together, big companies, and I hate to rely on big companies for anything. We're supposed to be disconnected from that in cryptocurrency. But a couple big people saving some of these things, right? Like, unfortunately, Celsius was basically a scam. BlockFi is TBD. Time will tell. But I don't think BlockFi was a scam. I'm not saying they're going to get out of this perfectly, especially not unscathed. But I don't think that they were a scam. I don't think that Genesis Trading was a scam. Voyager, I'm not sure. Maybe scam E, but not a full-blown scam like Celsius was. My point is, if some of these people band together and salvage Genesis, save Genesis, salvage BlockFi, save BlockFi, and this is part wishful thinking because I'm personally negatively impacted by these things, right? Heavily. I think FTX is just it's too effed to try to save. Like that one's going down. But my point is, if some of these other players can be saved, it's less failure, it's less FUD, it's more redemption arcs, it's more just possibility to save face, right? Saving face in this case is also confidence. It's the confident, like, let's say everything that wasn't basically completely tied up and just tainted and ruined with FTX and SBF and Alameda, all that stuff's probably completely doomed. And it kind of should be, unfortunately. But if everything else can kind of get by, redeem themselves, pay people back, and that's a good comment. Calm down, fam. That's his username. He said, why say bad companies? So I've got a great answer for that, because a lot of these companies weren't bad until they, had these mishaps and messed up, right? But I'm not saying that they're good. I'm saying that, so to answer your question, why save them? To save the users. Every user you save, you keep somebody in crypto. You keep them interested. You keep them, you restore some confidence. If you get burned here, if you get burned over here, and you get burned over here, you will never crypto again. The average person will never crypto again. I'm a degen. No matter what happens, I'm going to pick up a couple pieces I have left, and I'm putting them back in the crypto puzzle. I'm going to operate more stringently than ever before, more cautiously, more conservatively than ever before. And so will most other people. But my point is, like, this is a mission about saving the people. This is a mission about saving the users. This is a mission about picking up your fellow just crypto brethren, soldiers, army, comrades, buddies, friends, allies in arms. This isn't about saving SBF. He should never be saved. This is psychopath level negligence. And that comes back to what I said earlier, is I want everybody to band together, connect with the other people, friends, family, others online. Do not troll anyone. Do not make mean, stupid, or like BS rumor jokes. Help others. And if you know anything about me and the channel, I love having fun. I love making jokes. I love effing around. That's what I do. But this ain't the time. This ain't the week. This is not a short recovery. This is a long road. So, that's all I got today. That's what I want to leave it on. I want to thank you all so much for taking the time to tune in. Turnout was incredible. Thank you all so much. I wish you all the best. I'm going to keep it real as always. I'm going to talk about whatever needs to be talked about. I'll answer any questions. I'll address anything. I have nothing to hide. I wasn't privy or knowledgeable to any of this, which is why I've been absolutely blown up by it personally. So we'll see where it goes. I'm not giving up. I hope you don't give up as well. And we'll have some more content later today. We'll have some more content tomorrow. And I'm going to keep working on this stuff pretty much all day, every day, to just bring you all the latest scoops. Do what I can with our team, with what we can. So, thank you. And goodbye.